Alright, welcome back to me not being dressed properly for a YouTube video. Again. Well, not again, right? I don't know, I forgot. Anyways, so look what we got in the box. We got our rear coilovers. As you probably seen in the title of the video, that's where we're going to be installing. Here's what you get out of the box. You get your thread body with the spring seat collar. Then you got your springs. So these are 200-pound spring-rated springs. I mean, honestly, I wish they were stiffer because I like stiff things. Right here is where you seat your spring at. Yeah, like that. I'm over here being resourceful. If you're to buy a company's or website's coilovers, they'd be pretty pricey. If you want to be resourceful, these fit like I think it's 05 or to 14 or 04 to 2014 Mustangs, and these actually fit perfectly, and these only cost me around $200. So you can either pay, if you want to pay for ride tag, go ahead. If I'm over here being resourceful, I'm paying, the minimum amount that works. All right, let's start off by installing the coilovers. First thing you got to do is chuck up your wheels from the front because you're going to be working in the back. If possible, jack up the car from the rear diff. If you can jack up the car from the rear diff, that'll be better. But if not, that's fine. You just jack it up from one side and then put it on a jack stand, and the other side, put it on a jack stand. Make sure you put the jack stands on the frame and not anywhere else like on the rear diff, because if you do, it's just going to compress the rear diff up and you're going to have a hard time getting the springs out. Once you have it on the frame, that should give you enough clearance to remove the rear springs and to remove the lower shock bolt. If you have a hard time getting the rear spring out, all you got to do is just get somebody else and push down on the wheel while the wheel's on the hub, and have it consistently pushed down so the axle can move freely and the rear spring come out smoothly. So I got these wire brush attachments from Harbor Freight, and I'm going to be using a Hart drill so I can remove all of the surface rust from the rear axle, so the post of the threaded body of the coilover can sit there and be welded cleanly and not be in the way of like surface rust and whatnot, so the weld will actually last longer. And here is a closer view on how the rear axle seating area is going to be for the posts of the threaded body coilover. It's a little weird. It's not really like I thought it was going to be. At first I thought it was going to be like a flat surface for the the posts of the coilover to sit on top and just cleanly welded, just without any issues. But unfortunately, it's just going to be, it moves around, so you got to like eyeball it. You gotta just make it straight with the rear axle. It's actually, because once the rear axle compresses, it's gonna like bend inward towards the driver's side, like towards the front. So it's not gonna, when you drop the car, it's not gonna go down straight. It's gonna go down and bend forward. Towards the front of the car, if that makes sense. But really, to get it right the first time, all you gotta do is just align the post to be straight with like the rest of the axle. You don't want to like weld it crooked or weld it forward or backward or to the side. Just weld it straight as best as you can. And I promise you, once the axle compresses and the spring falls in place, it'll be just right. If you want to take some precautions, you can tack weld one side, hit it, and readjust it so it can be straight, and you don't have to like wiggle it around too much. One thing you can do is use a monster can, cut the top open, and cover it up the thread body so you don't get any sparks or welding spatter on it. Once you're done welding in the post, like making it straight and welding in there, you don't gotta weld it all the way around if you don't want to. If you want, like what me and my buddy just did, he's welded like the front part of the post and the back part of the post, which is like more than enough to hold the post itself and keep it from moving around. Once you're done with that, if you want, you have someone else lower the floor jack slowly, but very slowly. And if you want, get under the car and make sure that the spring is going to enter that one Basically, there's going to be a part of the car where it's going to seat on top of the spring. And if you want, you can get under the car and just make sure that it's going to hit on top and not like fall out of place, or just like when you're lowering the car, you don't want the spring to just slip out. Make sure that it's going to be seated on that part where the car is going to be sitting on the spring properly and straight. Make sure you bring a set of universal spanner wrenches, or see if like the spanner wrenches that you have at home work. If not, just buy a kit from Amazon, which has like a 10-piece set for like universal spanner wrenches that fit most sizes, like from small to big. Try that, because these, I'm pretty sure if you have like the coilovers from a different coilover set, you most likely want to get like a different size of spanner wrench and make sure that's going to fit that size of your rear coilover. So back the next day, the coilovers are installed for the rear. Already I can see like a little bit of a difference. The slant is mostly gone. Hey, who's your good girl? So currently that just shows what the ride height is at right now, but I can't really do much about it because I just have to wait for the springs to settle in. I'd give it like around 5 to 7 days. 7 days tops, 5 days at least. Once they settle in, then I just go ahead and readjust things. All right, so we're at the end of the video, and on a YouTube short, I told y'all that I'm gonna be saying like some news, you know. So here's the news. Rain over here, it's gonna be Coyote swapped. Now, which Coyote engine, you might ask? Well, I preferably want a Gen 3 Coyote. The Gen 4 is out of the question. I mean, it's still new, where people are still learning about it. Not to mention it's crazy expensive. So, I mean, nah. 1, 2, 3 is like in the picture. So, Gen 3 preferably. I know it's gonna be too much money. If that's, you know, gonna be a problem, well, I'll go with Gen 2. Same thing if Gen 2s are like too expensive for me to buy, well, I should go Gen 1. I mean, preferably, I would like to go Gen 2 and above, you know, Gen 2 and 3, but Gen 1's okay, I guess. I mean, I'll just have fun with that, you know. Not that Gen 1's a problem, but I'll just work with what I have, you know. And yeah, that's all I got. Thanks for watching.